Welcome to Freelance Client Secrets Module 4. We're on Video 2, More Client Tips. In this video, I'm going to cover what to do if you have a difficult client, how to maintain a strong rating profile, a simple tip to get repeat business and referrals, and what to do when clients want to work with you directly outside of project networks. So now I want to talk about difficult clients. I think no matter what you do, you're likely to get at least a few at some point in your freelancing career. Sometimes you don't know if a client will be difficult until the job starts. And of course, other times, there will be clear signs before you start, at which point you should just not take the project. Some problems include too demanding, unrealistic expectations, and poor communication. So now I want to talk about signs of a difficult client so that you can potentially avoid them before even starting the project. The first possible sign of a bad client is a negative attitude. Some people have had bad experiences with freelancing, and some people just have a negative air about them due to other issues in their business or life. Because of these experiences, they may even be slightly antagonistic towards you from the start. Generally, these people are not as fun to work with and can drain you of energy, although if you come true for them, they could become a loyal fan. But for the most part, I like to avoid these clients. Sometimes you can tell a client is uncomfortable with your rate or cost, but they still want to work with you. If what they're willing to pay is close to the amount I quoted, then I might take them on as a client, but the danger in that is that if the project scope gets extended, then it might be more difficult to get additional funding. So that's something you should definitely take into consideration. If a client is slow to reply, then it's usually because they are busy with other stuff. Be aware, though, that slow clients mean that it will potentially take longer to complete the project and also to get paid. Sometimes busy clients can disappear for weeks or even months at a time. Finally, bad communication skills is another thing you should be able to detect on your first interview. If communication is going to be a problem, then it might be wise not to take the client to begin with. There are two options for dealing with difficult clients once the job starts. The first option is to fire the client. Try to end the relationship early before you do too much work, even if you have already invested some time in it. If you think you can turn things around and salvage the project, then great. But sometimes it is better to fire them than wasting time and energy only to get bad feedback ratings. The second option is to stick it out until completion. Do as good a job as you can, and be sure to stay calm. Don't get angry at the client, even if he or she is being an idiot. Sometimes they will surprise you in a positive way and leave great feedback, or even refer you to other people. Now I'm going to give you some tips for getting good feedback. First of all, manage your time effectively. Be careful about taking on too much work, and be sure you get your projects done on time. Communicate well and keep the client updated. Try not to disappear for too long and leave the client wondering what is going on with the project. Try to provide some kind of update along the way as to how things are progressing. If you have a bad client who you know you won't be able to satisfy, then consider firing them before the first milestone payment. Sometimes it is better to cut your losses, and if you fire them before getting paid, then for most sites they won't be able to leave feedback. Avoid low-paying clients, especially as you gain more experience. Not only is it less money, but often low-paying clients are more difficult to deal with too. Be careful about taking jobs that are beyond your abilities. If you haven't done something before, then you should probably tell the client so that their expectations are where they should be. And be careful about taking rush jobs if you're not sure that you can complete it in time. These clients are usually more frantic to begin with. Now I'm going to talk about why you don't necessarily need or even want a perfect rating. Perfect ratings might attract perfectionist clients. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't strive to be the best you can be, though. You definitely want to have a very good rating and good written reviews. And now for some tips for repeat business. One of the simplest tips for getting more business is to ask for referrals and more work from good clients. Although this may seem simple, most freelancers don't do this. Another thing you can do is suggest possible improvements that you can implement to their business. Once a client trusts you and likes your work, they will be more open to doing more projects with you. Sometimes employers will want you to work outside the freelance site. Of course, the freelance networks don't like this because they make money from the commissions on payments. Aside from saving on costs, clients sometimes want to work outside of freelance sites because they are more familiar with their own systems or don't want to learn how to use Elance. Make sure to get milestone payments up front or work smaller milestones to reduce risk if you're not using escrow and working off of freelancing sites. So this is the end of video 2, and in the next video, I review some of the other popular freelancing websites.